Then the whole company of them arose and brought him before Pilate. And they began to accuse him, saying, "We found this man misleading our nation and forbidding us to give tribute to Caesar, and saying that he himself is Christ, a king."
Pilate is always seen as the reluctant judge, the one who doesn't want to put Jesus to death, but is pushed into it by his Jewish subjects. There's good reasons, though, to think that that account in the Gospels may well have suffered from a certain amount of Christian embellishment. And that's because we do have other accounts of Pilate, particularly in the Jewish writer Josephus, and also in a contemporary of Pilate's called Philo of Alexandria. And both of them paint a rather different picture of Pilate. In both of them, he's a much harsher, insensitive, intolerant governor who expects to be boss in his own province. Philo, in particular, is very negative about him. He describes him as greedy, abusive, violent, and he says that his term of office was nothing but a series of atrocities. I think it would be very difficult to give this kind of a character description of Pilate if it was generally known that he was a weakling, that he was a soft touch. And so I think the truth is probably somewhere in between, that he was a reasonably competent governor. He lasted 10 years in the province, which actually was quite a long time for a provincial governor at the time.
Jesus is now standing in front of Pontius Pilate. He's the Roman prefect, but he's got a very challenging political circumstance to deal with in the man Jesus standing in front of him. He tells the Jewish authorities, "I don't find any fault in this man."
One of the main things that the Gospel writers are trying to do in the Roman trial narrative is to take blame for the death of Jesus away from the Roman governor and to put it as squarely as possible onto the Jewish chief priests. And I think the reason for that is because when they're writing in the late 1st century, Christianity is now finding its converts amongst the Gentiles, the non-Jews, some of whom are Roman citizens. And I think the last thing that these people want to be told is that the founder of this new movement was somebody who ended up on a Roman cross.